What's up, my fellow Wastelanders? Dark Populous here with a Fallout 4 DLC review. This video will be covering the second piece of downloadable content for Fallout 4, the Wasteland Workshop. The idea behind this DLC is to add more content for your settlement building endeavours, but how much content did they actually add? Let's have a look. The first and most obvious thing you will see is that a bunch of new objects have been added to your build menu. Each new object added by this DLC has a plus sign next to it to show the player which objects are new and which ones are from the base game. I've counted up to 94 new objects added to the build menu with this DLC. One section of these new objects consists of a new wall type, concrete. Surprisingly, the concrete appears to have a better snapping system compared to the base game's objects. I can snap corners together really easily, whereas I couldn't before, and it's very adaptable, not forcing you to place a wall directly into a gap, but rather you can now place it on top of it instead. Again, something I couldn't really do before with wooden or metal walls, and especially not with those junk fences. Another really fun selection of objects from this DLC are the neon light letters. Unlike with other signs in the base game that usually come as a preset word that you can't change, these neon letters allow you to spell out entire words from scratch. You can power these neon words also to make them more visible, though you can choose not to power them and you can still see them fairly well. These neon lights are basically smaller versions of the light boxes from the base game, except they don't require as many resources and aren't too big. The next big feature from this DLC is the ability to make arenas, and either make your settlers fight each other to the death, or fight creatures that you can capture in cages, such as Deathclaws, Yaoguai, super mutants, and many more. However, in order to catch a creature, you don't actually go out into the wild and catch one with your bare hands, like your Steve Irwin or Bear Grylls. Instead, you simply power the cage and it has a chance to catch one while you're away. What? I'm disappointed by this. I would have loved to have been able to catch a mole rat with my bare hands, all the while pretending I'm shooting a documentary in Australia. However, the message that pops up does mention that the chances for your settlement to come under attack are increased when you have things contained in these cages. I love this idea, but I have still yet to become under attack. So, I'll take them at their word for this for now. Especially since they've added some new traps as defenses. These traps aren't too impressive, but they can be pretty fun to play around with for a short amount of time. Now, not all the creatures that you can capture in the cages are hostile. You can catch some friendly dogs, though it's not always guaranteed to be friendly. You can also catch cats, which do nothing but roam around your settlements, and they don't help defend the settlement from attacks. Pussy! Bethesda, you have made a terrible mistake! We also now get the ability to plant garden plots, which allows us to place food in areas where there isn't any dirt ground to grow food on. This is useful for some of the inner city settlements you can come across, and it might be cool to be able to build your own greenhouses. A new power source has also been added in the form of a fusion core generator. This monster adds over 100 power to your settlement by itself. It does require a science rank of 4 and quite a sum of materials, but to be perfectly honest, it would have made more sense, and I personally would have preferred if you would have had to sacrifice an actual fusion core for this. Don't get me wrong, I would not have liked it if they would drain the fusion cores over time. All you would have to do is just sacrifice one fusion core and that's it, that's the end of it. It permanently powers it for the rest of time. Alongside this new fusion core generator is a decontamination arch, which when powered allows you to walk through it and clear yourself of all radiation. This is an extremely useful tool, but it removes the need to pay a doctor to remove your rads for you, unless you're playing the new survival mode overhaul. The rest of the objects I haven't gone into detail consist of cosmetic items such as lights, mounted animal head ornaments, and derailed trains, which you can use as walls. I have two ways I can look at this DLC. One as a console player, who for the first time will be able to make NPCs fight each other for his or her amusement, because they don't have access to the console command menu like we do on the PC. And the second way is as a PC player, who has access to mods from the Fallout Nexus. Wasteland Workshop adds 94 objects to the game, at least from what I've counted, for a price tag of £4.99. The main defense for this DLC is the fact that it's only £4.99 as opposed to Ultimatron's £7.99. But there are mods out there like the Homemaker Expanded Settlements mod by Novakoru, which adds over 1,000 new objects to your settlement menu for free. That's 906 more items for flipping free. However, the items added by this DLC are brand new, while the mod that I mentioned only adds objects for you to use that are already in the game. In this DLC's defense, however, some of the objects they have added are more functional with the world and have more uses other than just being cosmetic. So personally, I'm okay with this DLC for the price tag, especially since now I can have more fun with contained animals. Alright, that brings us to the end of this review of the Fallout 4 DLC Wasteland Workshop. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, feel free to rate the video and subscribe to the channel. In the meantime guys, I'm Dark Populous, and I'll see you guys in the next video.